Okay, morning everyone. It's about the appointed hour now, so welcome to this meeting of Cabinet. We've apologies this morning from the leader, Councillor Jeffrey, so I'll be taking the chair. If we can have a look at the minutes on pages 1 to 6, and can we approve those as a correct record of the meeting on the 16th of January?
Move them, Chair.
Thank you. There are no chair's announcements to make, and there's no urgent items which we need to add to the agenda. Under agenda item 5, if I can just draw colleagues' attention to the exclusion of the public and press. Item 9, under the strategic acquisitions for Castleford, is the only item that's potentially subject to that under page 13. So if there are any questions from members, we may have to exclude at that stage. Otherwise, there are no other items that require exclusion of the public and press. And can I draw members' attention to the declaration of interest? If you have any interest to declare, then please do so in the appropriate manner. On that basis, we'll now move on to key decision reports then, and the first item 7 is the capital programme update for quarter 3. This report informs Cabinet on the delivery of the Council's capital programme as at the end of December last year. In addition, the report also seeks approval for 2 proposed additions to the capital programme in relation to replacement IT systems for the Adults and Health Directorate. Prioritisation work on the capital programme has been ongoing throughout the year, and this report reflects the outcome of the work. Table 4 on agenda page 11 provides a summary of the Council's updated capital programme at the end of December last year, and in total there remains significant investment of £339 million across our district over the 5-year period, with £114 million of that forecast to be spent this year. And this includes a wide range of ongoing investment in schools, highways, parks, and to deliver the Council's regeneration ambitions. All changes to the capital programme are detailed on pages 10 and 11 in tables 2 and 3 respectively. The report also provides further details on the count indicators, and these are summarised in Appendix 6 on page 80. In terms of the proposed additions to the programme, Section 3.3 details the need to inject the remaining monies into the programme as well for the ongoing restoration works at Welbeck, and Section 3.4 of the report details the 2 new proposed IT systems referred to earlier. Finally, the recommendations are set out in Section 2, and can I ask Cabinet that we agree with the report? Any questions or comments? No. Thank you, colleagues. The next item, number 8, is the Highways Capital Programme. Over to you, Councillor Morley.
Thank you, Jack. Yes, this is the Cabinet report for the future financial year's Highways programme. Once again, we've got about £12 million coming to the district, which is government money via the Combined Authority. Really appreciate it. It's really brilliant. It'll go into our highways, but as we're seeing, it's nowhere near enough. We're also putting in money ourselves from our capital programme, but it's still nowhere near enough. We need somewhere in the region of £70 million this year to fetch our highways up to an approved standard, really. And that's just the highways. That's not everything else that goes with the highways, drainage, etc., everything else. So I welcome the report. It's good money for the investment, for the district, but I don't want to get people's hopes that we're going to sort every pothole out, every road out, every pavement out. We haven't got that amount of funding. I always try to be more positive when this report comes every year, but I'm just telling the truth where we are with it. We do desperately need more money for highways funding. We all know when we go out, door knocking, speaking to residents, it's one of the main things that comes up. Everybody has an issue with potholes, road resurfacing, so we will do the best. There is an appendix there for the work that we will be doing this year. It won't cover the entire budget in one respect, as we like to keep a bit back. So any emerging issues, we can deal with them. So with that, I'm happy to move the report and take any questions.
Thank you, Matthew. Maureen.
Yeah, I just want to say the infographic on agenda page 91 is excellent, and I wondered if you'd be doing some comms around it. Yeah,
we will be. It's not the first time we've used that graphic, Maureen. We've used it for a couple of years now. I just think it sums up the amount of highways, the amount of work that we do there, the amount of roads, pavements. It's from Land's End to John O'Groats. It's a massive, massive district we have, especially some of the rural areas that we don't always get around as much as we should do as well. So, yeah.
Les?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit annoying, Matthew, that government give out announcements about we'll cancel HS2 coming up to the north, but we're going to put all this money into potholes and all this side, and the public get excited, and then the money doesn't flow. And the frustration then comes back on our back on a regular basis. And they're saying, but you've got all this money, that should have gone to HS2, and it's coming to you, and it obviously isn't enough, anywhere near enough. I'd like to say, I know with the money that you get, Matthew, some of the good work that our teams do around the district, but I concur. I think it's nowhere near enough, and I think government should either start putting the money in or not saying they're going to put the money in at the beginning.
I make a valuable point. I think the Prime Minister was arrogant just to be going on about how much money was going to go into the councils from HS2. We're not yet to see any of that money, and he couldn't really describe where that money was going. So when government, this what always frustrates me after a bad winter, and as bad a winter as some, they'll make a massive announcement of £1 billion going to highways networks across the country. When that gets down to council levels and all councils in the country, you're talking a few £100,000. It's not massive amount of money, and we see that in all our departments. These massive announcements made at government level, billions going in. By the time it trickles down to our councils, it's very little funding.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. Can we agree the Highways Capital Programme for the coming year?
Yep.
Thank you. Item 9, strategic acquisitions for Castleford. Councillor Graham.
Thanks, Jack. So I think I brought these enough times. Everyone knows what it's about. It's to delegate authority to the Service Director to complete another acquisition on the Castleford scheme. So yeah, I'd like Cabinet to approve the recommendations. If you have got any questions on the pink paper stuff, we'll have to tell everyone to get out as usual. So let me know.
Any questions on item 9?
No.
Can we agree the report?
Agreed.
Thank you. Moving on to non-key decisions. Agenda item 10 is the Capital and Investment Strategy for 24-25 and the Treasury Management and Capital Programme for the coming years. Councils are required to prepare a capital and investment strategy as well as a Treasury Management Strategy statement, and this report, which commences on page 123, provides details of the proposed strategies for the 24-25 financial year. The investment strategy is included in full at Appendix 1 and the Treasury Management Strategy at Appendix 3. These documents are vital tools that support the delivery of the Council's corporate priorities through having an affordable and sustainable programme of capital investment. In terms of the investment strategy, a new indicator is required to be included, which is the net income from commercial income compared to net revenue. For Wakefield, this is less than 1%, which gives a really positive assurance that Wakefield Council is not reliant on commercial income. As set out in section 3.5 of the report, the Council is reviewing how the national change in leases will impact our Treasury management activities. When the review is completed, further changes may be required to the Treasury management indicators. The recommendations for this report are set out on agenda page 123 at section 2, and we recommend these strategies to full Council for approval at the Budget Council meeting on the 28th of February. Are colleagues in agreement with these recommendations?
Agreed.
Thank you. Move on now to agenda item 11, which is the revenue budget and council tax for 24-25. In January, we set out our initial budget proposals for the upcoming financial year, and since then these proposals have been open to the public for consultation, which closed at the end of January. The response rate to the consultation has been a really huge improvement from previous years, and I'd like to thank all residents and stakeholders who took the time to respond to the consultation. The findings from this are included within today's report at section 3.6. In addition, the initial proposals were discussed and scrutinised by the Council's Overview and Scrutiny Board, with their response included at Appendix 5, commencing on agenda page 297. Today's report is to put forward the final budget proposals for 24-25, which, if approved, will be presented to Budget Council later this month for final approval. In putting forward these final proposals, the Council is very aware that it's a difficult time for everyone across the district, and this means that our Council has to be even more focused on the priorities of residents and businesses. The budget will help to deliver the updated corporate plan, which sets out our ambition to improve the lives of residents and make sure our district has a sustainable future. In spite of the challenges we face, the Council will still deliver for its residents, and the budget does include investment into key services such as adults and social care, children's services, household refuse collection, as well as additional funding to tackle and support homelessness. The Council has a legal duty to set a balanced budget, and this means we've got to be more efficient, increase our income, and make some changes to local services. We are committed to doing this responsibly, and I'd like to reiterate that the Council is committed to minimise as far as possible the impact of government funding cuts on the delivery of our priority services. The proposals do include an increase to council tax, which is not a decision that we've taken lightly. This increase will raise an additional £8.7 million for the district every year and this is vital to ensure we can maintain essential services to residents, and particularly those vulnerable residents who rely upon them. Residents who responded to the consultation accepted and supported the need to increase council tax, and I think that just shows you that people do understand the really difficult position that local services are in. I firmly believe that the budget being put forward is one which is fair, responsible and delivers for the people of this district. The recommendations are set out on section 2, agenda page 213, and I ask colleagues that we agree these recommendations and proceed to Budget Council on the 28th of February. Any questions, or are we happy to agree? Les?
Yeah, I obviously agree with everything you said, Jack, and I think it's really important, but I think there's a sense out there in the country about how the cutbacks over the years have affected councils now, and it's fully reported on news items and everything, and I think it's important. We don't want to impose taxes on our residents, but we have to get the funding in to support not just vulnerable people, to support people from all sides of society, and I think it's really important that we do that, and I think people have accepted that. The council tax, if we didn't impose this council tax on our residents, right, we were going to get the money from, because government constantly are cutting money to the public sector, and it's getting ridiculous, to put it bluntly. So my view is, I certainly endorse it. The funding that we get in, we will make sure that we spend that funding accurately across the district, and that all people and all agencies will benefit from it, and I think that's what we should be pushing that all the way, because I think it's really important.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Councillor Shaw, and I think one of the frustrating things as local politicians that we see is not only are we getting funding cut from government, but we're also getting additional responsibility. And you look at things like social care, where the government has shifted the burden from central government to local government. We've no choice but to increase the social care levy if we want to look after our elderly and vulnerable people. So it puts us in a really difficult position, but I think, as you say, with this budget, we've got the right balance of taking the tough decisions to safeguard services for local people. Any other comments on that report? Can we agree the report then?
Yeah.
Thank you, colleagues. Agenda item 12 is the Property and Facilities Transformation Project. Over to you, Councillor Shaw.
Thank you. This is the final report to Cabinet about the transition from the previous Equans partnership and transformation of the property services. Cabinet previously approved the principles underpinning the transformation in March 2023, and then awards of contracts to Robertson and Leeds. As we've always said, the new operating model needs to have levels of resources and skills which enable us to drive forward projects, deliver for residents, and have the control over the estate so that users and staff have safe and suitable buildings. This report covers the staffing structure that has been designed to do just that. The cost of the changes are already factored into budget proposal which have been consulted on and are already on the agenda today. There is a clear process in the Council for organisational change such as this, and managers are already in consultation with unions and engaging with staff. Of course, this means there may be some slight changes to the proposals, but these will be in light of the principles we have set in Cabinet and the budget. It isn't job done. As we are embedding new ways of working both inside the Council and with our new partners, but collaborative approach being taken to do that is already bringing benefits. I move the recommendations in the report to note and endorse the operating model, and I'd just like to say that everybody that's been involved in this, congratulations to them, it's gone smoother than a lot of things certainly were expected.
Thank you, Councillor Shaw. Yeah, I think if you asked any of us where we'd be at the start of this process, I don't think any of us would have thought it would have gone quite as smoothly, and that's all down to the hard work of yourself officers, Gillian Marshall and a team, everyone who's been involved with this project. So it's great to see this last update is such a positive one, and I'm sure we'll all be watching the services progress in the coming years. Maureen.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, we all set down this path with trepidation about where we were going to come out at the other end, but I think our new partners have really made it easy for us, on board from day one, and still on board and working with our staff, and I think it's a testament to the transition and the team that have you know, made this happen. It's absolutely excellent. We've seen a difference already.
And indeed, there's an invitation to all Cabinet to go over at 1 o'clock this afternoon to see exactly how it operates.
Thank you, Liz. Can we agree and endorse the report?
Agreed.
Thank you, colleagues, and that concludes this morning's meeting of Cabinet.